So most of my guides are primarily geared towards clearing stage mode. This is kind of an inevitability due to the fact that stage mode is the main avenue for progression. You need to clear stages to access new stages, complete achievements to unlock new gear, and it's a lot easier to get fandom levels by beating stage mode than it is by surviving endless mode for 30 minutes. However, if you want to get the highest score in the game, to have your name be exalted on the leaderboards for eternity, then you'll have to clear endless mode. Or not, since the leaderboards are shut down at the moment. So, endless mode is quite literally just the same as stage mode, with the only difference being after you defeat the boss that appears after 20 minutes, instead of the game ending, it keeps going, with you getting swarmed by mini-boss variants of all the enemies into stage for 10 minutes, and then getting swarmed by Yagus after 30 minutes, which scale their damage and health up exponentially, so you'll eventually die to them. This isn't 0.3 anymore, going infinite isn't a feasible strategy. Now, we're lucky to break the 40-minute mark. But if you wish to break that 40-minute mark, then there's no getting around it, you're going to have to optimize your build to the fullest. So, how do you do that? Well, it starts in the shop. Thanks to the new ability to eliminate anything you don't want, you can delete all but 10 weapons and items, and if you want a high score, you're going to want to exploit this by deleting everything that you don't want in your run. The first items I recommend cutting are any trade-off and stat boost item that gives an additive buff. Basically things like Ninja Headband, Energy Drink, Injection Type Asakoko, Limiter, that kind of stuff. Not membership though, we'll get to that. Why do you want to get rid of these? Well, in Endless mode, level ups matter not for the weapons and items, but for stat boosts. If you level up and have no upgradable weapons or items and no empty slots, you get the option to either level up your stats or get a few extra holo coins. And because the enemies keep getting stronger the longer the game goes on, you want to get as many stat boosts as you can. And because you're getting stat boosts from the levels, this makes most of the items that boost your stats a waste of an item slot, with a few exceptions. In order to maximize the number of stats you can get from leveling up, the strategy is often to get a new weapon or item with a level, and then the next time it shows up in the level up screen, to eliminate it at level 1 and use anvils to level it up instead. Because of this, blacksmith's gear and credit card become very powerful items in endless mode, though more so credit card. Now, I didn't go into the specifics about how credit card works, but it doesn't just increase the chances of anvils dropping. If that was all it did, it'd be a pretty terrible item, because any gacha player can tell you for a fact that rate up is a lie. What credit card actually does, besides increasing the chance of anvils dropping, is that it creates a special timer in which after a certain amount of time has passed and before a certain amount of time has elapsed, an anvil is guaranteed to drop, with the anvil dropping resetting this timer, and the timer gets shorter the more you level it up. At max level, you're guaranteed an anvil every 1 to 2 minutes, plus the additional anvils you'll get from other enemies, and you'll want to use these anvils to level up all your weapons and items. For the most essential items, either breastplate or membership is required in your build. Now, in my items video, I made a mistake when I said breastplate's damage reduction increases with levels. It does not. That's only true with membership. What is true, however, is that both items have a damage reduction rate of 25%, and you're going to want one of those items, because decreasing the amount of damage you take is a huge boon. Damage reduction is one of the few stats that you can't actually buff into level up screen. Now, whether or not you should get both is up for debate, since I'm not actually sure if damage reduction stacks additively or multiplicatively. I think it's multiplicatively because that's how it normally works for balancing reasons, but it stacks additively in Hollow Break, so who knows. Regardless, you should get at least one of these items for that stat alone. Don't worry about the trade-offs. You'll get so many stat boosts from levels that the speed reduction from breastplate might as well be redundant, and you get enough holo coins in the game to keep membership online. And besides, if you're playing endless mode, you don't need the extra coins. Pika Pika Pimon and Gorilla's Paw both remain useful despite being used to buff stats for two different reasons. Pika Pika Pimon boosts damage proportional to one's health, meaning it allows you to boost both health and damage whenever you boost your health in a level up. And since Gorilla's Paw is a multiplicative stat boost, its damage boost gets stronger the more you increase attack, and the debuff becomes irrelevant with enough level ups. Now, I don't recommend face masks despite it also being a multiplicative stat boost to your attack, because its debuff decreases damage reduction, which makes our previous choice of membership and breastplate redundant. The rest of the items tend to be chosen based on what the build needs. Halu, Researcher's Coat, and Study Glasses tend to see play. Raven's Feather might see potential as its damage boost scales with time, but I'm still iffy about this one since dying resets the boost. For weapons, you generally want to get at least one of these two super collabs, Jinkisakan or Holy Fire. Which one you go for will depend on you. Holy Fire is generally the better item on most characters, while Jinkisakan is better on specifically healer characters. Snow Queen isn't worth it for reasons we'll get to later, mostly due to its component weapons. Unlimited BL works just sucks, and the last time I tried using Hololive, my computer killed itself. I have decided to take that as a sign from God. If you're going for Holy Fire, then you are by default required to go for Eldritch Horror as one of your collabs. It doesn't see much use in stage Stage Mode due to Jingisakan having better healing and competing for its niche, and the fact that one of its components is spider cooking. This collab really shines in Endless due to the fact that it combines damage, crowd control, and healing. Now, what other collabs you choose will be up to your discretion, but when you pick your 4 collabs, you will be left with one weapon slot which you will use for any weapon of your choice. Typically in Stage Mode, this weapon doesn't matter, but in Endless Mode, it actually matters a lot, so picking a strong weapon is generally a good idea. The best options for your last weapon are Wamy Water, Ian Curse, and CEO's Tears. Actually, it's just Wamy Water. Wamy Water is busted in Endless Mode due to the fact that it's the best crowd control weapon in the entire game. Its huge AoE allows it to hit a lot of enemies, and while the knockback becomes weaker due to enemies building knockback resistance, its ability to stun enemies remains essential in keeping you alive. There's a reason almost every build optimized for Endless Mode uses Wamy Water. This is also why I don't recommend Snow Queen. Snow Queen is not worth giving up Wamy Water. So those are some general pointers for Endless Mode. For specifics, it really depends on your character and what you'll do, which I can't really cover in the scope of a single video. So the only course is to get experimenting. So good luck on that. Thanks for watching. Please let me know who you'd like to see next. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for future videos, and happy holocuring.